Hi, welcome to Liberty Park Music. I'm Michelle Huang, your piano instructor. In this lesson, we will learn what harmonization is and how to harmonize a melody using a simple accompaniment. Then we'll look at a short piece and learn in details the technical and musical aspects that will help you learn music more in depth. Let's first start with harmonization. Harmonization is the chordal accompaniment of a melody. It augments the melody and makes the piece sound fuller. Chords are essentially a combination of intervals. As you can see in this piece, Haydn's German dance, the first chord consisted of 2 notes in the interval of a third. The second chord in measure 4 in the interval of a fifth, and measure 6, a chord consisted of 2 intervals stacked on top of each other. The bottom in interval of a third and the top a fifth. The result is a beautifully harmonized melody. We will talk more about chords in the next course. In this short piece, a melody is given to us. We will harmonize the melody by playing the harmonic fifth on the first beat of every measure. We will need to first determine the key of the piece. Just to review, we will need to look at the key signature at the beginning to do that. We can also look at the very last note of the piece to confirm the key. Remember, the name of a sharp major key can be determined by moving up a half step from the last sharp. Since this piece only has 1 sharp and it's F sharp, moving up a half step from that will be G. Now look at the last note of the piece. Now the key is confirmed. Let's start by playing the melody first. Now let's add the left hand. This is the harmonic fifth interval that you'll play at the first beat of each measure to harmonize the melody. You will need to lift your left hand at the end of each measure before you can restrike the same interval again. Let's try this together. You can make this harmonization exercise more challenging by playing harmonic fifth on the left hand in different octaves. The tricky thing here is, of course, moving from one octave to another. When you lift your left hand at the end of the measure, be sure that you use your wrist and forearm to direct you to your next position, either up or down. Let's try this excerpt together with the left hand playing in different octaves. Now take a look at this excerpt. The left hand now has the melody. The right hand has the harmonization. Let's do the same thing and start by playing the melody first. The right hand is playing another harmonic interval of a fifth, with middle C on the bottom and G on the top. Same as the previous excerpt, harmonize by playing the interval on the first beat of each measure, picking up the right hand at the end of each measure before striking the keys again. Let's try the right hand in different octaves this time. In the second part of this lesson, we will look at a short piece by the Russian composer Kabalevsky. You will see many musical terms and concepts that we have learned before, including the different articulations and dynamics. We will also talk about specific techniques and musical details that will help you learn this piece. This is the first piece of Opus 39, which consisted of 24 short little pieces. Each represents a different style. This piece is called Pequeña Canción. When we get a piece like this, we want to first determine the key and the meter. The key can be determined by looking at the key signature at the beginning and the last note of the piece. In this case, no sharps or flats. And the last note of the piece on both the right and the left hand is C. So it's clear that we are in C major. This time signature indicates that we have 4 beats a measure and a quarter note gets a beat. Since there are no eighth notes in this piece, the counting would simply be 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, we will look for repetitions of any sort, notes, rhythms, and phrases. By looking at the music, it looks like measure 1, 2, and 5 and 6 are exactly alike. Measure 3 and 4 are similar to measure 1, 2, and 5 and 6. The only difference is in measure 4, there are 2 Ds on the right hand instead of D, C, D as in measure 2 and 6. Measure 7 and 8 follow similar rhythmic patterns as the rest of the piece, but with different notes. As you can see after this analysis, we really only have measures 1, 2, 7, and 8 to learn. The rest are repeats. The piece all of a sudden is not as intimidating, and 4 measures of music are much quicker to learn than 8 measures of music. We will start playing the right hand first. Pay attention to any musical details along the way. For example, slurs, tenutos, and dynamics. Also remember to lift your hand in between phrases. This is the equivalent of taking a breath if you're a singer singing this beautiful melody. Let's give it a go. let's play the left hand. Left hand, it's a bit tricky here connecting two double notes. Practice connecting the top notes first. Then the bottom notes. Then connect them together. Notice you do have to raise your wrist a bit to play the second chord in order to connect the first to the second chord. Now, let's play this left hand together. Again, pay attention to dynamics as you go and lift your hand in between phrases. Now let's try these hands together. Pay attention to how your hands interact with each other, especially to the fingerings on your left hand. There are two places in your left hand that you will need to move position. From measure 6 to 7. And from measure 7 to 8 back to the original position. Let's play this excerpt together. As you practice the piece that we just talked about and any pieces in the future, you'll find that the most effective and efficient way to learn the music is by small chunks. So it's a good idea to break the music down to small bites, learn phrase by phrase until you feel comfortable with the notes, rhythms, and then playing them hands together. In this lesson, we learn what harmonization is and how to harmonize a melody using a simple accompaniment. We also look into the technical and musical aspects of a piece and learn how to recognize repetitions of notes, rhythms, and patterns in order to learn a piece more efficiently. You will find more harmonization exercises and a new piece to learn in your homework. Use the same method of approaching and learning a piece, just like we did in this lesson. See you next time.